Alright guys, we are live, so let's get into it. I have the SPY open, so we can go ahead and just kind of talk about the SPY. I'm gonna go ahead and you can see right now, you know, on the 2 minute, which is what I love to scalp. We have been short or in a put, right? You know, even in this uptrend, we've been taking puts throughout this market here. The way that I trade, guys, and you guys know this who follow me for a while, is I trade zones. My zone is, my low is here, my high is here. We're at the high part of the zone. Could we go higher? Sure. I mean, we can get as high as 427, right? All the way up here. That could be our peak. Just, you know, scalp accordingly, right? You know, as far as the SPY goes from a long-term standpoint, let me mute this one just to make it a little less noisy. You can see, you know, we have this kind of rising wedge that we've been following here. And then if you go to like a higher time frame, guys, you can see we kind of have like that bear, you know, larger bear pennant with the rising wedge. So me, you know, I believe this is the technicals that's basically going to lead up to that crash, you know, that everybody keeps talking about that's coming. So, you know, as far as my trades go, I'm just not taking any kind of calls, right? I'll let it roll until we get, you know, in this range, anywhere around the 404, 407 range. I don't mind taking some calls because I can fight it down if it goes a little bit down in this range. I won't take any more puts unless we break below this, and then I'm going to believe that wedge is going to play out. So, you know, as far as my range today, scalping goes, we go back to the 2 minute. Stretch this out here. So about, you know, as far as my range goes here, you know, we're sitting below again this trend line here. We're right on the Bollinger Band. So I'm gonna assess my put I'm already in. I won't take any additional contracts until I see what it does. If it continues to fall down, I'm just gonna ride the 40 contracts that I have down. If I do get a pump up and my contracts close, I'll probably wait for a pullback on to create this left side shoulder. I think we will still create a lower high, probably somewhere around this trend line here. Right, so I would probably look to take a put somewhere in the 415, 416 range again. So if you guys remember yesterday, with those who are following me, I mean, it played out almost perfectly where we wanted. We opened, where was it? We opened like right here. My anticipation, you guys knew I had this line here, was that we were going to continue to reject off of this. I had said if we get anywhere near 418, that is like a killer put area, right? We did get a bearish candle formation, confirming that, and then we begin to create our lower highs. So the moment we threw up this first one right here, I began to track that. And so that's why I did take one contract or one series of contracts here, but I think I closed it somewhere around here around the EMA, just a little scalp. But when I seen it reject again here off this second one right there, that told me that we're going to continue to come down. So I did take the put for that. So that's what I'm riding right now, which I did leave overnight. So played out perfectly, right? Anywhere, yeah, this is one of my alarms right here. Get rid of this one. Anywhere around this range, right? The 418, anything between 417 and 418, that's like put central, guys. I mean, you can make so much bag. So just keep an eye on that. You know, you guys know, like I said, I'm more of a zone or gap fill type trader. These type of parabolic moves are not sustainable. They're just not. You can see even in this parabolic move, we had not only one really good pullback. Think about this. This is from 411 to 405. That's a massive trade. But we also had a secondary pullback that pulled back further, right? So even though we had another sustained push, we might have one small pullback. It might push up one more, hit that 418, right? And then we have our larger pullback. So just keep an eye on that and scalp accordingly. When I say I'm taking puts only, I'm not just jumping into contracts. I'm waiting. You know, I'm trying to make sure that I'm super patient with my entry, because otherwise you jump in too soon, right? You can get burned. So this SPX I'm not going to cover. It's the same thing. I mean, not, you know, oops, no, wrong key. You can see in my market insight, I just kind of threw out this guidance. It also hit off of this upper area that we talked about. Right now we're fighting this EMA. That's what it's fighting. If this EMA breaks, which I think it will, then we're going to come down and retest probably this yellow area or possibly this 200 EMA around 41.33. And then I think we might get a bounce there. I don't know that it's going to straight crash. I think we'll get a little bit of a bounce and then it's going to range. Keep in mind the market makers, when you're dealing with crypto or stocks, they want to, trap the long contracts up here. And then they want to do that really good pullback, trap some short contracts and then pump it up and then do this. They love to do that, especially right before meetings. It's just a way for them to open liquidity and build liquidity on both sides, right, to balance that. So just be aware. Don't overextend your contracts, guys, today. You don't want to get stuck. I will likely close all my contracts today. Aside from maybe if we get a good pump, I may swing it, right? Do like a longer time frame, like a 14-day, just to protect myself, so I have some time, right? But if you're not really confident or you don't have the margin or liquidity to do it, don't overextend yourself, whether it's crypto or stocks. So, looking at the Dixie, we did break this trend line, guys. So this was the trend line that I was following for some time. You can see here we have not broken this in quite some time. Probably looks like March 20th. So we got a while back, right, that we have not broken this downtrend. Well, we just broke it. And if you look, not only did we break it, what did we do? We broke it and retested as support, and we went up. So likely what's going to happen with that is you're going to create your higher high, possibly a higher low, and then a higher high. And then once it begins to show that trend, you're going to see a nice little explosion north. I would look for a rejection somewhere around here because you have some really good, probably even closer to that. So you have some really good resistance within here and you have resistance within there, right? And if I go this way, it's probably, see, support. Didn't even have to look to see that. So I would imagine we're going to probably explode up. It may even just continue to follow this this trend right here. So you might see, this push up and then fall back down and then hit that and then go up and then, something like that. Anything up here, aside from news, right? If the news comes out to where the Dixie's bullish, it'll explode through that, which is going to be big. But if it's, what is expected, you're likely to get a good rejection off of this. And so if you're in a put or a short, it's a good time to close it if you're scalping. So just keep an eye on that. And that's why we watch the Dixie, right? Because that's going to dictate where the market goes. The VIX kind of blew my mind yesterday. It hung around like 1550 all day, which is like, wow. We are creating, kind of like that. You got that double top that invalidated, but then it turned into a head, which is turned into a shoulder. So we could see an up, over, down kind of situation. And then if you look at it in a larger scheme of things, right, you kind of got like a shoulder, head, and a possible shoulder. It's kind of an ugly shoulder, so I don't know. We'll see. But this green line right here, it has to hold as support to break north. So for those who don't know, VIX is kind of like the Dixie. It goes up, markets go down. It goes down, markets go up. Just keep in mind, guys, when you go to like the 4 hour, like a higher time frame, we're here. Like we're literally here. I mean, look, it's literally at like the bottom of bottoms. This is like back in 2021. If you go back to 2019, like 12 or 11, is like our low. So we've revisited pretty close to our lows. I mean, 14 or so is like low, and we're sitting at 15. Each time that happened, right, you had an explosion north. So these explosion norths are just simply the pullback, right, the gap fill. So it's just could it break it? Sure, but I mean, history shows that it's got to come back up again a little bit at least before it goes back down. So we'll see. But this green line we want to watch because if you go to the daily, this is where that kind of green line came from. Even the VIX is kind of trying to hold that trend line. It did break it right here, which is interesting, but it is trying to reclaim it. So we'll see if that can reclaim it. And this is what it looks like on the on the 2 minutes. Let's stretch it out. right there. So this is that green line that we need to kind of hold. Would be my upper range. If we do this like that, it's likely it's going to butt its head right here for sure. So again, we have news tomorrow, right? So that could heavily dictate what that does for the market. Bitcoin. So as you guys know, I've been following this upper band and this lower band for some time. We had our up over down, our down over up. I mean, it's literally what it does here. And then you had your kind of triple peak here, which pulled the market down as again, right? So we had actually called these shorts in the room, and we kind of been riding that wave down. If you look at it from a kind of closer perspective here, you had your fall from this pump, you had your next fall from this one, right? And then you just had this fall, which is this one. So this whole pattern is complete. So where we go next is just heavily dependent on the news. So I still believe that we're going to break this level. It is showing some weakness because you do have your peak here, and this, 3 attempts could not create any kind of higher high, not even from the shoulder, right? Which is, kind of a sign of it losing some steam. Our indicators have just been phenomenal. You can see here this zone tracker has caught this support range, a few times. We could hit it one more time, guys. We could, see an explosion down to about 26.6 again, and then a pump back up to 28.8 before the true fall down to here. I still believe we're going to hit here. I would suspect somewhere between our low of lows for Bitcoin is somewhere between 23, something like that, 23 and 23.5. If you take this trend line, you also have to look over here, where you had your resistance. This is 23.9, right? You had support, so likely to get some kind of a bounce right about here. I'll throw a line on there, and we'll just make this one green. So, and I like to do that because although this is our low, unless the news supports it, we don't just typically come straight down. It's gonna, do this thing, come down, it'll blow through this, it'll hit here, and then it'll explode north, get back to about 26. We'll ride this as support, and then it comes down. That's a potential, right? So you always want to know where those explosions are because we teach in the room to scalp. So if you think about it on a long, if you can take your profits somewhere in here, right, from this previous side, then you're good. Well, then when it retraces, you re-enter your long on the retest, right, and you're increasing your profits. So that's how we scalp in the room. So that's kind of where I see Bitcoin. As far as the high of highs, if the news is like really good from the feds, we can explode as high as 32.5, anywhere on this line right here, right, 32.4, 32.5, is where I would see it would go. If and that would take something like the feds coming back and saying like, hey, we're gonna raise the hikes as normal, which we know is mostly priced into the market, but we're starting to see a lot of strength in the economy, and we feel like we might be able to ease it back. If they say anything like that, it's going to the moon, right? We're just going to shoot straight up here. But if they come out and they say like, we're on course, it's coming down, inflation's coming down, but not as quick as we think it should have, right? Any kind of like words or like, expressions of the fact that it's not going as fast as they planned, markets are going to tank. So just keep that in mind. I will touch a little bit on ETH. Kind of got a head and shoulder break on ETH here, so be careful. We're also back below this trend line, so and this is on the daily, so that should be a pretty wild. So this trend line right here is not super strong, but it is from this peak of support to this peak of resistance. And it comes across, and you can look at, if you look at the shorter time frames, you'll see where it did not hold as resistance, but the moment it claimed as support, it shot up, right? So there's some validity to this line. On the daily, if you look at the 200 EMA, a retest of like 1670 is probably very likely. The low I have on ETH is probably 1400. I don't see us getting any lower than that. Maybe in 2-3 months when the end of the year stuff starts to come out where the true recession starts to hit, we can go lower. But For now, if you're in a short any lower than 14, you may want to DCA your entry up, or just take your loss and reset. If I get anywhere in this range, I'm mostly taking longs. So at least until I see something really pushing down on that. So, but we do have a pretty nasty head and shoulder, guys, on ETH. So be aware, because if this neckline breaks around 1800, 1820, it's going to be a pretty nasty free fall. So let's get into our ATAs. Excited to look, because I know we're still running Aave, I think. Let me look. I think so, because I know the market's been coming down, so it has to have done good. But let's review the trades. Let's take a look. What is going on? There it goes. I'm like, just take a minute. All right, guys. So if you remember, this is Sunday. We talked about this yesterday. We waited on Aave. It got out in profit, which is great. This is, for those who don't know, this is our automated trading assistant. They run 100% automated. That's why I don't even typically look at them until the morning here. And each red triangle here is when it took a short. Each orange one is when it sold it. So it's kind of like, I set mine up scalping. You can do swing. You can set it up on whatever time frame you want. I set mine up to scalp, get in, get out, right? So it gets in, gets out, gets in, gets out. So we took, yesterday we took a short, took another short, took another short. What I love here is that it didn't have to DCA, right? Just in and out, in and out, in and out. It did take a short here, which it did have one DCA. It's hit off the profit line 1, 2, and 3 times, so that's freaking cool. But 11 days, it's made $55. I'm just gonna let Aave keep going, probably through the news even. I'm okay with that. So we'll just let it keep rolling, guys. I'm not gonna make any changes on Aave. Let's take a look at ETH. So fairly certain our ETH long is still in, but I think I added another DCA. So let's see if it took it. I don't remember. Let's see. I don't think it did yet. Maybe we didn't add it. But yeah, it's been stuck in this this long. Like you guys know, I've been super patient. I didn't want to just force DCAs. Yeah, we added a second DC at 9%. Where's the... Oh, that's why. The white line's right here, guys. It has to get to about 1770 before DCAs. Otherwise, it'll just wait. It'll just be patient, which I'm good with. So the short has been killing it. 11 days, made $106. Look at this. Sunday caught that fall, but not only Sunday, but look, I caught it yesterday too. Caught another one. So awesome. And they did take a short. It is 1 DCA, so we're just kind of chilling, waiting on that one. You guys know I always run ETH both ways. I don't really stop it. I just manage it, so I'm gonna leave that one. Let's take a look at LTC. So LTC, remember we had a long going, but we stopped it. Let's see if that was a good call or a bad call. So the shorts did really well. Caught this short, and caught that one again. Man, another big one, right? And then we do have a short here with 1 DCA, which did pump up. Let's adjust this date like we did the other one, because for some reason it doesn't like to go that far back. As long as it doesn't adjust your trade, history like this, then you can adjust that. So you can see in 12 days it's made $247. So LTC is a beast, and that's just on shorts. Longs actually would have been doing pretty well. Yeah, it looks like it had some falls, but it's been managing it pretty well. Not too bad. So it's not in a long now. I'm not gonna do the longs. It looks like it's doing pretty well. It bounced off of our line like perfectly. Look at this. This was the line that's been there for a while. So I'm not gonna mess with those. I'm not gonna make a ton of changes, guys. I don't think. We did have Solana. Let's look and see. I know it got out, but let me show you guys, for those who don't know how this works when you set an existing trade. Because remember, we did want to get out of Solana. So we did get out. See, we did our force buy there. It got out here, and look, no other trades. It will not take any more trades. Because we did it as an existing. So when you click this gear here, guys, this is all we're changing. Is we have the short, parabolic SARS is the strategy I love on the alts. You have the TP ranges I don't typically touch. I recommend one DCA, so you can manage the other ones. And we did have a stop loss set on Sol, which it never hit. And then we did do yesterday. We set up as existing trade. When you click existing trade, it will do one trade, and that's it. So that's why it stopped. So now the beauty is all you have to do is come over here whenever you're done. I get the question sometimes like, okay, it did my existing trade, now what? Like, how do I stop it? Well, it's already stopped. It can't send any more signals. But if you want to be sure, once it closes that trade, you just come over to your alert. Once these alerts are gone, guys, when it's not on your chart here, it can't send a signal. It's just impossible. That the alert is what actually sends it to the server to execute the trade. So this is why I always set my alerts up as ATA, something, so it keeps them at the top of all my other alerts. And I just use this as my to-do list. So I know I'm running short, long, short, short. So I have 3 shorts and 1 long going. So if the market goes up, I'll be okay. All right, I'll make a little money on the long. If the market goes down, then I'll be fine on the shorts. All right, we'll kill it. So I'm gonna leave this and through the news. Probably tomorrow after the news, maybe tomorrow evening. I'll do another huddle or something, and then we'll make some adjustments based on the news on what we want to do. So, but I don't want to overextend during the news. So that's kind of where I'm at. I got like 10 minutes left or so, guys. So let's take a look at some other pairs because I know some people had asked me. So let's look at XRP. I am not running XRP. Y'all know that when we teach you to zone trade these ATAs, we'll mute that. We always go to the 1 hour and we just kind of zoom out, right? So if y'all remember in XRP, I could have ran this and I probably would have done really well. We talked about when it broke this level that we were going to probably range in this zone a little bit. It's done that pretty well. XRP's actually got, yeah, it's definitely shown signs of weakness, right? So XRP is likely to break down. But I'm not going to touch that. If you wanted to play XRP, I recommend playing shorts only. But if you're going to play shorts, I recommend putting a stop loss in case, because there's a lot of news coming out with the lawsuit. So I would put a stop loss somewhere around maybe 5 or 7%. And then when you do the stop loss, guys, set it up to where only do 1 DCA. I wouldn't do more than 1. And when you do the stop loss, choose the 7%. But I would click this. What this does is once it takes a stop loss, it will no longer take another trade. It's done, right? It'll call it quits. So I recommend doing that for sure on XRP. So, but XRP, my recommendation, if you're looking to, add another pair, you could. I would stay short on it. I don't cover BTC much, and somebody asked me yesterday, they're like, why don't you ever cover BTC? So as you notice with BTC, I do a lot of live trader throughout my BTC. And so because I do live trader, I just don't, let me mute actually this one. I don't do the ATA. The live trader is a whole nother session I haven't really talked about on these calls or the huddles. But it's such an amazing tool. So if you're interested on that, it's just a way that you can physically live trade using our tools. So when you set your parameters, it tells you literally where to enter, where to exit, and so on. It's pretty amazing. So I use BTC for that. So that's why I don't typically do an ATA with it. I'm going to delete some of these lines. So you can see BTC, from this previous upper and lower that we had, we're kind of high in the range here. You can see this was the lower band that I was chasing. If you were to take, this line here and pull this down, you can see that there's room to come up, right? But so you could potentially take a long and a short with BTC. I personally would still stay short. If you want to stay long, that's fine. Just only use 1 DCA, guys. Don't get greedy with it. I would recommend when you come in here, I would recommend probably parabolic SARs. I would recommend 1 DCA. I would recommend stop loss if you're only doing one direction. If you're doing 2 directions, both long and short, which you can on Big E only, then I would be okay with that. With not running the stop loss though. But that's kind of where I'm at with BTC. Let's see what else we got. Matic. We haven't talked about Matic or Doge in a while, so let's take a look at Matic. I haven't even looked at Matic. So Matic's actually been ranging pretty good. Ooh, Matic's in a pretty interesting double bottom, guys. If this breaks out, like if we do get a break north because of the news, this is going to be a pretty dramatic push north, probably to like $1.08. So Matic, I would almost stay long only. I don't think I would take short on that, guys. Matic's in a very different situation because of this pump. And you're literally, I mean, it's just holding the bottom of the range. So I would take long only on Matic. I would not do shorts. And you could do stop loss if you want. Matic's a good project, so I don't mind going long only on Matic because you know it typically tends to bounce pretty well anyways in these kind of markets. So so my recommendation would be long only. Again, 1 DCA. I would still do 1 DCA. And you could set a stop loss. I'd say between 5 and 7%. Doge would be another good one. I stopped running Doge because of this crap here. This right here is not good for our ATAs. I mean, granted, it would have did well DCAing it, right? But it would have destroyed any stop losses that you had out there. But it's done pretty well since. And it's just holding this range. So you could run Doge. You could probably run long or short. It's kind of at that pivotal spot between its high and its low. It's in the middle, right? So we could pump up and keep retesting, or we could fall down into this level. So you could run both if you wanted to kind of play that extra risk. But I typically stay away from Doge unless it's, you know, a weekend or the markets, I believe, are in a spot that they're going to slow down a little bit. So, but that's all I got, guys. If you guys want to come in and trade with us, we usually put this out in the room. You know, as far as the, you know, we get on like a Google Meet like this and we just trade together. So if you guys want to come in, you know, the room, just come into your trading floor like this and you'll see the instructions right here. So, and I'll post that. Give me about maybe 10-15 minutes, guys, if you're in the community, and then I'll post that. But, you know, I think it's setting up for a really good day. Today you can almost see the pre-market starting to reclaim, and so it's likely it's going to try to make that kind of second that second shoulder that we talked about right here, right? So it's still well below it, right? So it's already broke that neckline, so we may even just get a push-up retest of the neckline, and this could just be the shoulder, because it doesn't always have to, this shoulder doesn't have to be a perfect shoulder. So we'll see how that market opens. But appreciate you guys joining. Come on into the room if you guys want to hang out, and we'll do another market update tomorrow. I do it, like I said, every day, 8:30 EST if you want to join. So I'm going to go ahead and stop on the